Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Innovating with Google Docs Part 1, and today we're going to talk about how to make a HyperDoc. Before we start to build, let's address the question, why even use HyperDocs? A HyperDoc is one document that is a student-centered learning roadmap. It has everything in one place. It takes away teacher-centered learning, gives you more time to meet with your groups, and it's meaningful work. There are 6 easy steps to building a HyperDoc. First, just like when you're lesson planning, you're going to choose your focus, your standard, your topic, or your lesson. Second, you're going to create your sections. I like to use the engage, explore, explain, and apply, and extend. Third, you're going to add any meaningful resources. This is videos, articles, things directly from your curriculum or from frameworks or even from CPOMs. Fourth, you're going to go through and include a focus question. After completing your HyperDoc, what should students now be able to answer? Fifth, add some interactive learning. Build in activities where students actually engage with what they learned. Maybe they're typing something in. Maybe they're dragging and dropping. Maybe they're finishing a sentence. And 6, you're going to want to offer choice and extension. I like to extend the HyperDoc beyond the computer by having students then go back to their seats and write something in a journal or complete a task. This way it helps them to take their learning even further. Let's get started by looking at what a HyperDoc actually is. So you could see it's made using Google Docs and it is just one document. This one document is going to walk the students through every part of the learning process. So first, we've got our standard up here, as well as what this topic is. This is on sound energy. And I have my focus question. After completing this, students should be able to answer, how do vibrations create sound energy? I have some directions, and then I have this divided into different sections. The way I did this was I created a table, and I did my table to have 2 columns, and I wanted it to have 1 row for engage, 1 for explore, 1 for explain, 1 for elaborate and apply, and 1 for extend. So you're just going to create a simple table, and then I resized them. So one column was significantly smaller than the other. On the top, you start with engage. I also like to color code them. Engage is where you get your students excited about the topic. So this is where I like to put a fun 2 to 3 minute video. You could even put like a picture or an image, something that gets them excited about the topic. So if you click mine, it brings you to a video. Now, please note, if you would like to link a video, and that video is usually housed in YouTube, open up a new Google slide and insert your video into Google Slide, and then share that slide as this link. This prevents advertisements and suggested videos, and you can even crop that video to be exactly what you want your students to watch. The next section is explore. This is where the students do some hands-on learning. So this really works well with science, but it can work with any topic. For this one, I'm having my students investigate by clapping, tapping, stretching a rubber band, and speaking, and then they're filling out this chart as they go. What did they feel was vibrating? Was it a loud or quiet sound? Then they have some wonderings, where they type in their answers about what's happening during that little mini lab they just did. The next section is explain. This is where you do the actual teaching. So this is where I introduce them to important vocabulary words or any important concepts. I included my vocab words, and then I also always like to include some kind of an infographic to help the students connect what they're learning to a picture. And then elaborate and apply. This is where students are actually checking their understanding beyond the knowledge level, and we're now at the application level. So first it's knowledge, what are the definitions, but then we're applying. Which one is how it's produced? Explain how the ringing school bell creates a sound that reaches your ear. And my favorite section is extend. Extend is where you give them the choice to pick something to show that they have learned something. And I always like to extend this beyond the computer. So my options are drawing a diagram and labeling it of how sound starts and reaches the human ear, or writing 3 to 5 sentences explaining how sound energy is created and how it travels. We chose our focus, which was science and sound. We created the sections: engage, explore, explain and apply, and extend. We added our resources. I put in a video as well as those science words, which I pulled directly from my textbook and typed it in. You could also link your science book to a specific section. That works as well. I included a focus question, added some interactive learning where students were typing and answering things. And then at the bottom, I offered some choice and extension. Okay, folks, so now it's your turn. Go ahead and check out those Thompson tips on the next slide, and then use the checklist provided to create your own HyperDoc. I've also linked for you an example of this HyperDoc to get you inspired, as well as the slide right here for how to build a HyperDoc step by step. All right, I've had so much fun with you today. You are getting so close to becoming that Google Master. I'm so excited for you, and I can't wait to see you in part 2, where we talk about how to build a choice board. See you then.